Have you ever, like, bitten into something and it just, I don't know, it just wasn't what you expected?
Oh, absolutely.
Like an apple. You go for it, think it's going to be all juicy and crisp, and then bam!
Right.
You realize, oh, there's a reason that one was still on the bottom of the bowl. You've got yourself a sharp tooth situation.
Yeah, it's like one of those universal experiences, isn't it? Everyone's been there.
Totally. And it makes you realize, even though we think our tooth enamel is, invincible,
Right.
it kind of makes you wonder, what are we supposed to do when we get a sharp tooth? I mean, it's happened to all of us, right?
Yeah, it definitely has. And I get why people panic, you know?
Yeah.
You've got this sharp edge just kind of hanging out your mouth.
Exactly. It's more common than you'd think.
Oh, way more common. And, our enamel is incredibly strong. Hardest substance in the human body, actually.
It is. Wow.
Yeah, pretty amazing. But think about it. All the biting, chewing, crunching we do,
True.
it takes a toll. And then there's the whole thing with the dentin. That's the softer layer underneath the enamel.
So that's why, like, the second we feel that sharp edge, we want to grab a nail file.
No, we're right.
But maybe resist that urge.
Yeah, big time. I know it's tempting, smooth things out yourself, quick fix, right?
Right, exactly.
But honestly, you're just asking for trouble. Like, filing at home, you might think you're just buffing out the edge.
Uh-huh.
But you could be creating all these micro cracks, weakening the tooth even more.
Oh, no. So what are we supposed to do? Besides, not attacking our teeth with a metal file.
Okay, first things first, warm water rinse. Just get rid of any little bits and pieces.
Okay.
If there's any bleeding, a little pressure should take care of that. And if you're feeling any swelling, a cold compress on the outside of your cheek can help.
So basically, good old-fashioned first aid.
Exactly.
But that's just like a temporary fix, right?
Exactly. It's like putting a Band-Aid on the problem.
Right.
It's not going to fix the actual issue.
So we can't skip the dentist.
Definitely not. Even if you're feeling okay, seeing a dentist ASAP is crucial.
Okay.
Delaying treatment, that can lead to way bigger problems later on. Like we're talking infections, even tooth loss.
And those are not fun.
Not fun at all.
Yeah.
And they cost way more to fix in the long run.
That's very true. I've learned that the hard way. So we've taken care of the immediate oh no moment. But what happens when we actually end up in that dentist's chair? So no avoiding it. We're talking about the dentist's chair. I'll be honest, those places always feel a bit like, I don't know.
A little intimidating.
Yeah. Like stepping into a sci-fi movie, all those gadgets and gizmos, it's a lot.
Totally get it. But you know what they say? Knowledge is power.
True, true. And I'm all about feeling empowered, especially when it comes to my teeth. So lay it on me. What are our options here?
Well, luckily, there are a few ways dentists usually handle a sharp tooth. 5, to be exact.
5. Wow, okay. 5 different ways to fix this mess.
Exactly. And they range from simple to, well, let's just say a bit more involved.
Okay, so walk me through it. What's option 1?
All right. So for minor chips, your dentist might just do a little reshaping.
Reshaping, huh?
Yeah, basically using a special tool to smooth out that sharp edge. Think of it like a gentle sanding for your tooth.
Okay, so kind of like buffing out a rough spot.
Exactly. It's quick, it's painless, and it usually does the trick for those tiny imperfections.
Got it. So if it's super small, I'm guessing they're not going to, like, break out the big guns, like a crown.
Probably not for a minor chip. Crowns are usually reserved for when there's more significant damage, like, say, a large chunk of the tooth broke off.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Think of a crown like a little helmet for your tooth.
A helmet, huh? I like that. Protective gear for your pearly whites.
Exactly. It fits right over your tooth, protecting it and restoring its shape.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what about fillings? I remember those from when I was a kid.
Fillings are still very common, and for good reason. They're super versatile,
Yeah.
great for repairing cavities, small to medium chips, you name it.
So how do those work again?
Basically, the dentist removes any decayed or damaged parts of the tooth,
Okay.
and then they fill in that space with a special material that hardens up. It's like patching up a pothole, but in your tooth.
Interesting. And they can make those fillings match your teeth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Dental materials these days are amazing.
Thank goodness for that, I always say.
Right. You can barely even tell there was ever an issue.
Seamless. So we've covered reshaping, fillings, and crowns. What else?
Well, let's say you have a larger chip, or maybe you've always wanted to tweak the shape of your teeth. That's where veneers come in.
Veneers. Okay, now those I've heard of. Aren't those the ones that, like, give you that Hollywood smile?
That's the one. Thin shells of porcelain that get bonded to the front of your teeth, like custom-made covers.
Fancy.
They're great for improving the look of chipped, discolored, or misshapen teeth. And they offer an extra layer of protection, too.
Okay, so we've got 4 options down. Reshaping, fillings, crowns, veneers. What's number 5? The one everyone dreads.
Ah, yes, the root canal.
Why does that phrase just send shivers down everyone's
I
spine?
know, right? They've definitely got a bit of a bad reputation. But honestly, they're often the best way to save a tooth that's really damaged.
Really? So when we're talking chipped teeth, when would a root canal even be on the
It
table?
usually comes down to the inside of the tooth, the pulp. That's where the nerves and blood vessels are.
Right, right.
Now, if a chip or a crack goes untreated, bacteria can get down into that pulp, and that can lead to an infection. Yeah, ouch is right. And that's when a root canal might be necessary.
So it's like a last resort to save the tooth?
Exactly. The dentist cleans out the infected pulp, disinfects everything, and seals it up to prevent further damage. It's like hitting the reset button on a tooth that's in trouble.
Okay, so we've talked about all the things a dentist can do, but what about right now? Like in this very moment when my tooth feels like a tiny dagger in my mouth?
It's all about damage control in those initial hours, right?
Exactly. So hit me with your best shot. How can I find a little peace?
Well, if pain is your main issue, over-the-counter pain relievers are your new best friend. Acetaminophen, ibuprofen, you know the drill.
Music to my ears. I am not above a little over-the-counter relief, that's for sure. But what about the sharp edge itself? Any tips for taming that beast?
You are not going to believe this.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued.
Sugar-free gum.
Seriously.
I'm telling you, a small piece, carefully molded over that sharp edge, it's like a little edible shield.
That is brilliant. I never would have thought of that. And sugar-free, of course, got to be mindful of those pearly whites. Speaking of which, any other tips for being kind to my teeth while I wait for my dentist appointment?
Absolutely. Until you can get into that dentist chair, stick to the softer foods.
Okay, so we're talking.
Smoothies, yogurt, soup, anything that won't give your teeth a workout.
Gotcha. No steak dinners for me.
Exactly. And be super gentle when you're brushing around that chip tooth.
Right, don't want to make things worse. So basically, lots of TLC for my teeth until I can get to the dentist.
Exactly. And remember, a chipped or broken tooth is usually an easy fix, especially if you don't wait to get it checked out.
That's reassuring. I feel much better equipped to handle this whole chipped tooth thing now.
That's what we like to hear. Knowledge is power, even when it comes to your teeth.
I am all about that.
Hey,
Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. But listeners, before we go, let's take a moment to appreciate the marvel that is our teeth.
here, here.
They chew, they chomp, they help us flash those pearly whites. They deserve a little love, wouldn't you say? So be kind to your teeth, folks. And maybe keep a pack of sugar-free gum handy, just in case.
You never know when it might come in handy.
Until next time.